talk about what effect the federal government's stimulus funding has had on this area of alternative energy investing, on General Electric's bottom line, on the country's budget deficit?
I think when the stimulus was first announced, February, going back to February of 2009, it was, I think, as much about confidence and safety as anything else. Mm-hmm. It had some big ideas with respect to, but it was also to try to say, hey, look, the government's involved, the economy's not doing well, we're going to try to help. So that's 18 months ago. In certain specific areas like batteries, the government has been a stimulative force to get technologies commercialized faster than they might normally have been commercialized. On renewable energy, the impact has been not that big. On GE's revenues, the impact has been not that big. But I think it planted some seeds that have been worthwhile over time. Now, what would make it go faster? Look, some of the ideas that we're talking about this morning: price for carbon, and I would say more versatile incentives for utilities that encompass conservation and things like that. So there's other ways to move faster.
Having a carbon tax, which is what you're alluding to, doesn't seem very likely right now. Do you agree?
I think energy policy right now, before the November election, is unclear. In other words, you've got a Kerry bill, you've got a Lugar bill. I think the White House maybe has ideas, but I don't think anybody's got super high hopes that we're going to see something between now and November. We got into really, our interest has always been about technology and about getting new technologies validated. There's a number of different ways to do that: cap and trade, carbon tax, things like that. And, we just need, some leadership.
What do you say to those who would make the argument that the government spending, any sort of large amounts in this area amounts to an industrial policy, picking winners and losers, not consistent with the history of the country or even with the formation of General Electric a very long time ago?
Look, I think there's this false notion about how this all works, and every other country in the world is doing it. So in the case of energy, there's a real disconnect between the price of a barrel of oil today and an investment like a nuclear power plant that's going to last for 40 years. And the government has always played a bridging role between those two points, and needs to today, just like every place else in the world. Now, in our case, we've got a $45 billion energy business that's more than half the revenues outside the United States. If it doesn't happen here, we're going to do it someplace else. We're not going to say, oh my God, an energy bill is not going to be passed by November. We're just going to give up on our business. We're going to go do the stuff we need to do in every other corner of the world. So that's what I'd say.